Good evening. I'm Senator Trey Stewart from Aroostook County, and I have the honor of serving as the Republican leader in the Maine Senate. Let me be crystal clear. This budget is the worst in decades. The governor has lied to us all in her promises to not raise taxes on Maine people. She's proposing a dozen new taxes, including a tax on retirees and a 70-cent tax on every prescription filled in Maine. Let me be clear about one more thing. This budget has 0 Republican votes. We know that Maine is already one of the highest tax states in the country, and Mainers are already struggling to scrape by. This budget throws gas on that fire. Unfortunately, it seems my Democrat colleagues are hell-bent on purporting to be firefighters when they're really the arsonists here. We know you're smart enough to figure that out, though. These proposed tax increases are an insult to the people of Maine, people who have to learn to live within their means, while their government refuses to do the same. People who continue to give and give, only to see the fruits of their labor taken away. It doesn't have to be this way. And Republicans are here not only to ring the alarm, as we have for years, but to offer pathways to unleashing the potential of Mainers to improve their own station. First, let's talk about energy. We believe in a system that prioritizes Maine's people and not out-of-state solar developers and Wall Street hedge funds. We'll fight this session to end the subsidies that you're paying for each month in your light bill that fund unsightly and inefficient solar fields. You should tell our Democrat counterparts to follow our lead on this if you're as mad about this scheme as we are. Next, let's talk about taxes. We don't think your property taxes should go up because some out-of-stater overpaid for your neighbor's house to become their third vacation home. Maine property taxes should be about providing local services that are necessary for our communities to function. We'll be introducing a new model this year to fund these services differently and limit the tax burden on our most vulnerable seniors. We will work with anyone, regardless of party, to provide stability and predictability in our property taxes. Along those lines, the biggest item in local budgets is typically the public school system. While Democrats have thrown more money at public schools, scores have plummeted to some of the worst in the nation. We should be empowering teachers to teach and kids to learn. By getting back to the basics and common sense in the classroom, we'll see our performance improve. Finally, much of our budget woes are due to Maine being a welfare state. Thousands of people came to Maine to access our far too generous welfare system, costing us millions of dollars in cost overruns. We should have a welfare system that acts as a safety net, not a hammock for the lazy to hang out in without limit. Getting people back to work and injecting accountability into this system is one of our primary focuses this session. I encourage you to pressure our Democrat colleagues to join us. While the budget gap was created by Democrats, we're happy to help them fix it. We can and must do better, and are relying on you contacting your legislators to ensure that they put partisanship aside and do the right thing right now. I've lived in Maine all 30 years of my life and have come to believe some basic things about our state. Mainers are smart, resilient, and industrious. We want what is best for our state and will work to make it happen. If we continue to fight on, we will win. And the next 30 years will be the best yet. I truly believe that our best days are ahead of us, and by charting a new course, we can turn our dreams into a reality that will benefit every Mainer, from Kittery to Fort Kent and every small town in between.
Good evening. I'm Representative Billy Bob Fockingham, the leader of the House Republicans in the Maine legislature. Democrats created this budget mess. They turned record tax revenues into a deficit. Instead of lowering taxes, Democrats continued to recklessly spend your hard-earned tax dollars. They abandoned the traditional bipartisan budget process by passing budgets without Republican support. Their irresponsible spending led to this shortfall. Governor Mills says she doesn't believe that the government can or should be all things to all people all of the time. But what this budget says is that she will tax all things and all people all of the time. Instead of addressing what caused the deficit by reducing spending, the governor is proposing to spend $1.1 billion more by taxing Maine's poorest citizens, low-income workers, senior citizens, and people living on fixed income. This is on top of the $448 million payroll tax that just took effect January 1st. How much pain can they inflict on you, the Maine people, before you say, enough is enough? Maine has the third highest tax burden in the country. Our property taxes are the highest in the nation. Rather than tax everything and everyone, Democrats should do what everyday working families do when they have less money: spend less. The governor boasts about a 55% education funding and continued revenue sharing in her budget, but these are things we can easily agree on. This budget seems like it was written by a millionaire out of touch with reality. Taxes on paint cans, digital streaming, prescription drugs, cannabis, tobacco products, retiree pensions, and even an ambulance tax are taxes on the poor and middle class. This tax and spend mentality is threatening our children's future. Republicans are united in opposing new taxes on Maine's poor, our middle class, our workers, our families, our businesses, and our seniors. Good night and God bless.